Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I cover the things that I've played in the last week and some of the news that caught my eye in the last week, or sometimes a little bit longer than that. So let's start with EVE Online, of course. I would say I played an average amount of EVE Online. None of it's really explosive or anything like that, just again a bit more manufacturing, keeping my PI going, keeping the research going. And trying to sell a little bit more just to fatten my wallet at the moment. Project Discovery did launch as well, so I put some time into that, but I didn't go completely crazy like some of the people that have managed to get an accuracy rating of like 97%. That's completely crazy. A lot of people have already earned their combat suits as well, which is of course a big incentive to play the Project Discovery. But I'm taking my time. I don't feel like completely rushing for the armor or anything like that. I feel like I would burn myself out completely. I'd rather try to incorporate Project Discovery in my mining habits a little bit so that I can keep doing just a little bit of that as we go along. I'm at rank 15 and my accuracy is at 58.8%. I think it's something like that. And so yeah, I'm definitely taking my time with that. I think the concept is really cool. And I would say what surprised me the most is how engaged the EVE Online community and how positive the EVE Online community has been around Project Discovery in general. Sure, there are some problems to be expected with something like crowd science where, well, people could systematically try to game the system. Obviously in EVE Online you're gonna get a lot of players that do think of that option and maybe want to try it out. But on the other hand, you have a lot of players that give feedback, that have made video tutorials, including someone with that extremely high accuracy rating, explaining his thinking. I also like how the people from the servers that took a real beating at launch have kept us up to date on everything, and how the people from the I think Protein Atlas are also trying to incorporate feedback into their blogs and things like that. So I would say that for me, Project Discovery has been a great success for the game, and that the player base has surprised me quite a bit by how positive they've been and all the efforts they've put in. So some people have done some crazy work in Project Discovery already, but especially the people explaining mistakes, showing how they get to their extremely good accuracy ratings, and just trying in general to help this project along in a positive manner. I got a really good vibe out of trying to keep up with everything that was happening there. And for myself, you know, I don't think this is something that I could do for hours on end, so I just tend to go out there and mine a little bit while I fill my Mackinac. I do some Project Discovery, do that maybe once or twice, and then look for something else to do, maybe start some jobs, do some selling, things like that. I'm definitely taking my time. What I'm hoping to achieve here is what I'm actually hoping to achieve with a lot of things that I do, not just in EVE Online, but in general, is not to burn out on anything. And that maybe brings me to the other topic that I want to cover when it comes to EVE Online. As you may know, and I think I'm not alone here, I'm eagerly awaiting any information on the Citadel release date. And that is definitely something that's going to greatly impact my schedule. And so I'm seeing the current time as an opportunity to rest, to recharge your batteries if you haven't done so already. I think that while the Citadel expansion, I've done a lot of preparations for that, is going to be a great time to really get into the game, try and do your best to maybe get your Citadel out where you want it, build stuff up, keep an eye on all the changes that are happening. Before that, you don't want to be burned out on the game, and as such, I would say if you need to take a small break, if you need to take it easy, this is the exact right time to do so. We don't have a release date yet. I would gamble May, to be honest, but some people took screenshots from the latest scope video where, well, it could be seen as a hint towards an April release, which to me would be very surprising. They would have to release it just before FanFest, and I don't see it happening, but it is still possible. My money is on May as the release month for the Citadel expansion. Another thing that I noticed is there's actually some nullsec action going on. Now, no major sovereignty wars, but it looks like, from my perspective, the Goon Swarm declaration of war against lowsec, and then especially the pandemic horde poking at SMA, the Space Monkey Alliance, I think has triggered a little bit of animosity, a little bit of action throughout nullsec, and so there have been several reports of fights of more than 1,000 people going on, with several parties jumping in, trying to destroy each other. Quite a few losses, but yeah, some action. I think it's good. It is no major soft war or anything like that just yet, but there are skirmishes of decent sizes that are starting to pop up here and there. And so if that's what you're looking for, some real action in EVE Online, I do think this is a good time to consider something like Pandemic Horde, something like some of those newbie-friendly alliances that are going to actually provide you with skills, trainings, plenty of fleets, and even the ships, I think, as long as you're flying the doctrines. And so, yeah, there is room for that as well. It's something that I want to try at some point, but at the moment I do have my own goal. I want to make that Citadel. I want to see what I can do with probably a high-sec Citadel. Still up in the air a little bit about what exactly I want to try when it comes out. And so that's what I'm working towards at the moment. But this is one thing to keep in mind about EVE Online. There's a ton of stuff that you can do. It's just about actually deciding that you're gonna put the time in and you're gonna go after a different goal. And so for me, for now, it is fully focused on the Citadel expansion. But if I would be looking for something completely different, some fun to do, then yeah, something like joining a Pandemic Horde, joining a nullsec alliance for some of those skirmishes actually sounds like something that is a good time to try out as well at the moment, because that's where I actually think a lot of the action is happening at the moment, interestingly enough. That it's been different before, you know, it's been very quiet in nullsec for a decently long time. So it's good to see some of those big battles come back. Now, what else did I do? I bought the Elder Scrolls Online 50% off, so for 27.5 euros. I said, okay, this is just good enough value for money that I'm going to pull the trigger here. I was looking for something extra to play because I'm pretty much ready with Fallout 4. I've beaten on just one character the season 5 of Diablo, so I'm not putting any more time in that. And I didn't really feel like jumping into Path of Exile just yet. So yeah, I jumped into the Elder Scrolls Online. I'm making some videos about that, just basically focusing on the story. But if you want to do this yourself, I should warn you of a few things that I have noticed. It took me a few days just to get ready and into the game, because first of all, the version that you're getting from the straight Steam download seems to be very far behind on the up-to-date game. I was quite surprised by that. So you're downloading a 36 gigabyte client from Steam, which already takes some time to do, but after that you have several more hours of updating to do. It looks like the Elder Scrolls servers themselves are capped at quite a low bandwidth, and you have to download several more 6 to 7 gigabyte patches, which is actually quite a bit. So if you're planning to buy the Elder Scrolls Online on Steam like I did, keep this in mind. We're talking probably 60-70 gigabytes of download, quite a bit of patching, several hours of that. And that was definitely something that surprised me. Another thing is that in order to get into the game, you have to activate the Steam key on your Elder Scrolls account on their website, and that's not marked anywhere. So I spent a little bit of time having to look for that as well. Luckily, of course, a first search about I can't log in gives you that answer, but that was a bit annoying, and I would have thought that after several years of this game being active now, they would have streamlined that a little bit more. So yeah, getting into the game is a bit of work. It's quite a bit of downloading, and that was a slight disappointment, but once I got into the game, honestly, this was an Elder Scrolls experience that I jumped into here. I did get a Skyrim vibe from the graphics. I got the idea that I could play this as an Elder Scrolls game, and I was not really forced into the MMO aspects of grinding for the best gear or anything like that. That's not the experience that I'm looking for, and so far it seems to be working out quite nicely. The people that are around your same level, that are doing the same things, actually feel at the right amount. It feels like it's a living world, and I'm definitely having fun playing the game at the moment, and just trying to cover some of the story aspects of the Elder Scrolls Online. And now you may ask, why are you jumping into the Elder Scrolls Online and not, let's say, Black Desert Online, which is a new MMO with more sandbox elements that just launched? You know, sounds like something perfect if you're jumping into Elder Scrolls Online, but that's an actual MMO at launch, and personally I feel like I won't be able to give the time to Black Desert that I should in order to get out of the game what I would want to. So for Black Desert Online, if you want to start that, it's a new MMO. I think it's not a bad game, but be prepared to grind, be prepared to play that every evening, almost your entire evening. Be prepared to basically treat that as your main game, and that was not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something extra to play next to EVE Online at the moment, next to possibly any other game that I want to check out, and the Elder Scrolls Online, I think, gives me that opportunity. I'm definitely looking at probably hundreds of hours of just storytelling, just experiencing the world of Elder Scrolls Online here for just 27.5 euros. For me, that was a no-brainer, and that's why I jumped into that. So you can expect some Elder Scrolls videos as well, I think in the upcoming weeks or so. I'm still seeing how exactly I want to cover everything, but fun, I can definitely tell you that I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm actually playing this as I would play a new Skyrim character or something like that. Now on the news front, I would say this is not really unexpected, but EverQuest Next has been cancelled. It is a game that I was keeping an eye on myself. I also bought the game that was supposed to become like the basis for this. It was called Landmark. It was really like a sandboxy crafting game where you could manipulate the environment and build up castles, build up whatever your imagination could think of. And I thought that was pretty damn cool as a basis, but it looks to me like all their promises about AI, the growing of the enemy, and then them like moving on to different parts of the map to establish themselves there and things like that is just something that was not really feasible. A little bit of pie in the sky promises about how great EverQuest Next was going to be, and yeah, they basically shelved that project. Am I mad about this? Do I regret buying Landmark? No, I thought it was really cool technology, and they gave it an attempt to try something completely different, and it just didn't work out. Which, I mean, it's been so quiet for so long around EverQuest Next that this is not unexpected at all. But yeah, it just basically became official. There will not be an EverQuest Next. I do think that they still have like EverQuest 1 and 2 running and things like that. But that's just not something that you have to worry about anymore. Not that I was actively thinking about the game, so I just noticed the news and I said, oh yeah, I put some time into Landmark, and I was following the development of EverQuest Next when they were regularly coming out with news, but I saw this coming a mile away as well, so it's been cancelled. Another thing that did drop is Overwatch. We got a release date from Blizzard, the 24th of May, and if you pre-order you get like a bit of an extra 3 days on the open beta, which starts I think the week before that or something like that. So my plan for Overwatch, and I never give 100% guarantee, so I would say 99% sure I will jump in on Overwatch at launch date. I think it's going to be a fun experience. A Blizzard game seems like it should be pretty damn polished and fun to play. I'm definitely influenced by people like Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, who have been playing that a lot and say it's really addictive. I'm actually enjoying this game. And of course, the fact that Blizzard has always been so open about this game. They've allowed people to show everything from the betas. There's been streams, lots of videos, lots of feedback on all of the different characters. If you want to learn about what Overwatch exactly is, you can find out right now what you're gonna get for your money. And I think that's a major plus about how Blizzard has been handling the development of their games lately. So for me, yeah, I think Overwatch is going to be worth it. Of course, Blizzard allows the creation of videos just for all of their games, for everything that they give access to. So that's a big plus as well. And I think those matches should be fun enough to play, to cover, and then to make videos. So I think it does fit with what I want to do with the channel at the moment. And so Overwatch, 99% sure that I'm jumping in on day one. And here at the tail end, I do want to quickly show this here. We've got the top sellers at the moment on Steam, and Tom Clancy's The Division is #1. It's doing really well on the sales, but I must say I'm also getting some feedback of exactly the fear that I had when I decided not to buy this game at launch, and that is that end game. There's just really not that much to do. You can endlessly grind some bosses for the very best gear, but it is just basically an endless gear treadmill with decently limited amount of content, of unique content for you to go through. So I follow Force about this, and he basically, a few days after launch, his first video is, here is the optimal grinding pattern for bosses and endgame gear. And we're not even, we're like a week in or something like that. This to me is pretty crazy, and is not what I'm looking for a $60 game. So The Division has basically moved to something that I'll probably buy and try out if I have the right amount of time right then, and it comes on sale for like 50%, maybe 75%, something like that. So I don't think it's a bad game by any means, but to me, I don't think I'll have enough fun and enough time into the game to pay 60 euros for it at the moment. And I must say that is the biggest difference that I'm feeling here between stuff like The Division, which only gave a very limited open beta and didn't allow for any reviews before the actual launch to be made and created, no press kits or anything like that. So you didn't really know what you were going to buy for your $60, and now you're dependent on all the feedback from the community. And sure, the sale numbers look great, but if you watch the videos and then you ask yourself, am I going to have fun playing this game enough to pay $60 or 60 euros? For me, the answer is unfortunately no. But compare that to an Overwatch, where you actually get to see the entire game being played by people already, people giving their opinions on everything that they experience. And as a result, I feel like I can make a much better judgment of Overwatch than I ever could with Tom Clancy's The Division up until launch. So that I do feel is a major difference, and a reason why I do prefer jumping in on this Blizzard game. Probably, I'm pretty sure that I will, but things could still change between now and then as well. Of course, the major one is still the release date for Citadel, and looking what I'll do when that actually launches. But there you go, guys. That's it for this Sunday recap. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you very much for listening to my rambling, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.